We're thrilled to have you with us today. In this episode, we're diving into a truly heart-stopping and emotional story that has captured the attention of fans everywhere. A miracle revealed. Gong Yoo and Soo-jung unveil their daughter's first hospital moments. After months of privacy and speculation, the beloved stars have finally shared a glimpse into one of the most intimate moments of their lives, and the reactions have been overwhelming. What led to this rare reveal? And why has it touched so many hearts? Stay with us and watch until the end to uncover every detail, starting right now. The night the images appeared, the internet did not simply react, it froze. Screens refreshed in disbelief. Comment sections exploded. And headlines multiplied faster than anyone could track. For years, Gong Yoo and Soo-jung had been known as masters of privacy. Artists who guarded the boundaries between their work and their personal lives with near mythical discipline. And yet, in a single moment, that silence shattered. The photos were stark, intimate, almost painfully quiet. A hospital room washed in soft white light. A man seated beside a bed. His expression stripped of all celebrity polish. Eyes rimmed with exhaustion and awe. A woman holding a newborn close to her chest. Her face pale but glowing with a strength that felt raw and undeniable. No press release. No dramatic caption. Just a single line posted hours later, "Our miracle." Before that moment, there had been whispers, vague sightings, cancelled schedules, and absences that sparked speculation. Fans argued endlessly. Some dismissed the rumors as fantasy. Others sensed something different. Something deliberately hidden. But no one expected this. Not like this. The hours leading up to the reveal were chaotic. According to those close to the fictional narrative, the decision to share the images came after days of sleepless debate. Fear clashed with longing. The desire to protect their child battled the understanding that secrecy itself had become a burden. In the end, it wasn't strategy that won, it was emotion. Inside the hospital room, time moved strangely. Machines hummed softly. Nurses passed like shadows. And the world beyond the walls felt distant and unreal. Gong Yoo, known on screen for commanding presence and composure, was reduced to something far simpler, a man terrified of blinking too long. Afraid the moment might vanish. Soo-jung. His performances had defined quiet intensity for decades. Stared at her daughter as if memorizing every breath, every tiny movement, preparing herself for a lifetime of doing exactly that. The child slept, unaware of the storm she would soon cause. When the images finally went live, the reaction was immediate and overwhelming. Some cried. Some doubted. Some accused the world of intruding too far. But most felt something else entirely. Shock mixed with tenderness. Disbelief softened by warmth. In an industry fueled by spectacle, this felt different. Too real. Too human. With the flood of attention came tension. Questions piled up. Why now? Why reveal something so personal? And what had happened behind the scenes to bring them to this point? Dawn broke. The conversation shifted from shock to scrutiny. Analysts dissected every detail of the photos, the angle of the light, the absence of makeup, the quiet firmness of the man's hand resting near the bed. Nothing looked staged. That authenticity only deepened the intrigue. In this fictional account, days before the birth had been fraught with fear, complications, late-night consultations, moments when hope thinned to thread. Fame offered no protection inside those sterile walls. Contracts, awards, reputations, none of it mattered when the monitors. The room filled with hurried voices. In those moments, the actors ceased to be symbols and became simply two people clinging to each other, waiting for a cry that would mean everything. Finally came. It wasn't loud. It was small, fragile, but unmistakably alive. And with it came a release neither of them had expected. Tears followed, silent, uncontrollable, cleansing. Sharing the photos afterward was not a bid for attention, but a declaration of survival. A way of saying, we made it through something that nearly broke us. And we are still here. Public reaction continued to evolve. Skepticism faded, replaced by a collective softness. Even critics hesitated, unsure how to frame something so deeply personal. This story ceased to be about celebrity and became, instead, about vulnerability. In the days that followed, silence returned. Interviews. No updates. Just the lingering image of a hospital room where two lives changed forever. And perhaps that was the point. Not to invite endless commentary, but to offer a single, fleeting glimpse of truth before closing the door once more. In this imagined narrative, the miracle was not merely the birth of a child, but the courage to be seen, briefly, honestly, without performance. A reminder that even those who live under relentless spotlight carry private battles, private fears, and private joys. The world moved on, as it always does. Trending topics faded. New stories replaced the old. For those who saw the images, something remained. A quiet understanding that behind every headline lies a human heartbeat, fragile and real. And somewhere beyond the reach of cameras and speculation, the child slept peacefully, unaware that her first moments had already taught millions something they had forgotten. Miracles are rarely loud, but they change everything. Long after the headlines began to fade, the quiet aftermath told a deeper story. The hospital room that once held whispered prayers and trembling breaths was eventually emptied. Its white walls returned to anonymity. For Gong Yoo and Soo-jung, the echoes of those hours followed them home, settling into the corners of their new life like a second heartbeat. The first nights were the hardest. Sleep came in fragments, interrupted by the soft cries of a newborn who knew nothing of fame, expectations, or the storm she had unknowingly stirred. Gong Yoo found himself awake at dawn, standing near the window, his daughter close while the city slowly came to life below. For the first time in years, he felt no urge to perform, no instinct to prepare for a role. Everything he had ever done seemed suddenly small compared to the weight of this fragile warmth in his arms. Soo-jung watched these moments quietly. Recovery was slow, both physically and emotionally. The birth had left marks no camera could capture, moments of fear that resurfaced without warning, flashes of vulnerability that arrived in the silence between feedings. There was also a new strength growing within her, something deeper than resilience. It was clarity. The understanding that life had split cleanly into before and after. Outside, speculation continued. Some questioned the authenticity of the reveal. Others wondered if more would follow. But no further images came. No statements. The brief glimpse the world had been given was all it would ever receive. In an era obsessed with constant access, restraint spoke louder than any explanation. Behind closed doors, the couple faced choices more daunting than any career decision. How much of their world could they share without losing themselves? Could they protect a child destined to grow up under a shadow she did not choose? These questions had no clear answers. They were discussed in low voices late at night, ending in silence rather than resolution. What grounded them was routine. Feeding schedules, doctor visits, the simple miracle of watching tiny fingers curl and uncurl, of learning the difference between cries of hunger and cries of discomfort. Fame receded into the background, placed by a rhythm that felt both terrifying and sacred. Friends visited quietly, sworn to discretion. Some brought gifts, brought nothing but presence. In those moments, the couple felt something they had not known in years: normalcy. No scripts, no cameras, just people bearing witness to a new beginning. Later, when Gong Yoo returned to work, colleagues noticed a change immediately. Performances carried a new gravity, a softness beneath the intensity. Soo-jung, too, her next steps carefully, no longer driven by momentum but by meaning. Parenthood had not diminished their artistry, it had sharpened it, grounding every choice in something profoundly real. The world would likely never know the full story of those hospital days. The fear, the prayers whispered into sterile air. A moment when everything hung in balance. And that was exactly how they wanted it. Truths, they believed, were meant to be lived, not consumed. In the end, the miracle was not just the life that began in that hospital room. It was the transformation that followed, the quiet reshaping of priorities, the courage to step back from the noise, the resolve to build a future defined not by public expectation, but by love. And as seasons passed, the story that once shocked the world settled into something far more powerful than a headline. It became a reminder that even under the brightest lights, important moments often unfold in silence. So, this story gently comes to a close. And as a shocking reveal became something far deeper, a reminder that behind every celebrated name lies a profoundly human journey. The hospital moments shared by Gong Yoo and Soo-jung were not about fame or spectacle, but about vulnerability, courage, quiet power of new life. In choosing to share just a fragment of that experience, they allowed the world to pause, reflect, and feel. This narrative is not meant to answer every question or satisfy every curiosity. Instead, it invites us to respect the spaces we cannot see, the battles we do not witness, and the miracles that unfold far from the spotlight. Some stories are most powerful not because they are fully told, but because they are deeply felt. Thank you sincerely for staying with us until the very end. Your time, attention, and openness to this story mean more than words can express. We hope this piece moved you, made you reflect, perhaps reminded you of the quiet miracles in your own life. Until next time, thank you for being part of our journey.